Welcome to another episode of Talk to the Fedora, chatting about hard-hitting, honest entrepreneur wisdom that you can use to grow your small business. My name is Jarrod Goldsmith from eSAX Networking and Sax Appeal Productions, and today we're very pleased to be welcoming entrepreneur Roula Eid on our segment. Roula is an award-winning executive and team coach, speaker, facilitator, and the founder and CEO of Fingerprint Leadership Inc. With over 30 years of leadership and business experience across North America, the Middle East, and Europe, Roula partners with executives, leadership teams, and organizations to help them navigate complexity, strengthen alignment, and lead through change with greater confidence and impact. After an accomplished executive career in the Middle East, Roula moved to Canada, and in midst of the post-pandemic landscape, rebuilt her professional network and successfully launched and grew her coaching and leadership development business in Ottawa. Her journey gave her a unique perspective on leadership, resilience, reinvention, and navigating major life and career transitions. Roula is a professional certified coach, an advanced certified team coach through the International Coaching Federation, which is a lead facilitator with OCRR Global, and a member of the Harvard Business Review Advisory Council. Throughout her career, Roula has coached leaders and teams across a wide range of sectors, including technology, engineering, healthcare, government, education, and financial services. Roula is known for helping leadership teams move beyond silos, misalignment, and competing priorities to create stronger collaboration, faster decision-making, greater accountability, and lasting results. As well, Roula is a recipient of the Lead from the Heart Award, has been recognized among the top 15 coaches in Ottawa, and was selected among the top 100 women entrepreneurs in the Middle East and North Africa. She serves on the board of the International Coaching Federation Ottawa chapter and contributes to several leadership and community initiatives locally and globally. Roula, that's quite an impressive resume. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jarrod. It's a pleasure to be with you.
So, Roula, with such a background in international travel, where are you calling in from, please, today?
Well, I'm here based in Ottawa. So when we moved 5 years ago, mainly, I moved to Ottawa, and I'm still here and happy to be among this amazing community. It's like a large family.
Absolutely, and Ottawa is very better for it because you're here, Roula, so thank you. Roula, so we talked a little bit about your bio, but let's dig in a little further. Can you explain, outside of that short bio, a little bit more about you? How did Fingerprint Leadership start, and what type of background do you have, please?
Wow, that's a great question, Jarrod. When we moved to Canada, I used to have my own business back home in the Middle East, and specifically in Lebanon. So, when we moved here, I felt lost. So I felt like it was too big, and I didn't know anyone, and so on. So it was mainly about this transition. I was seeking, how can I be part of this market? How can I have a business again, and so on. So it's only when I started leaning on my strength that I felt that this is my uniqueness. Instead of searching for my weaknesses, I was searching for my strength. And these are my unique points. And what's unique in any person is their fingerprints. So this is how I said, okay, so if I have my uniqueness, my strength, and this is how I entered the market, what about other people? Every leader, every team, every person is unique, and they do have their own fingerprint there. And that's why I created my Fingerprint Leadership.
That's wonderful. I was glad that you got into it. I was going to ask you, how did you come up with the name? But no, it makes a lot of sense because you're helping to leave a lasting impression, and that's, everybody's unique. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and because in my home country, I felt that I left that fingerprint, and it stayed. So as if it's a legacy, and everyone was saying like, yeah, we felt that you left something for us here, and this is what I wanted to have. And Ottawa is kind of a small country for me. So I'm happy. Like I wanted to make that difference and the change, and this is how I said like, okay, these are my fingerprints here.
That's wonderful. Roula, who would resonate most with your story today?
Well, it was like if I want to think different kind of people, I would say first immigrants entrepreneur, and then the youngest women immigrant entrepreneur that they will say, oh, it's so hard, I cannot make it happen, too much to do. So if me at my age, I'm not young anymore, so I would say, but if I was able to make it happen, what about them? And for people like me coming at, I would say, not an early age, coming with a family, with kids, and so on, and they wish to start their business or to kick off something new.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I was able to make it happen, what about them?
Oh, that's wonderful, Roula. I mean, that's really good inspiration for immigrants and newcomers to the country. Starting over, they might not know anybody or have the experience here, just to get out of their comfort zone and follow their passion.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
Roula, how did you get into business coaching and leadership? What's the story for that, please?
Uh, it didn't start here. It started, as I mentioned before, in my home country. So I used to be a former CEO for an American franchise implemented in the Middle East. And then when I had my third kid, I said, like, it's an opportunity for me to start my own business. So we started as a team building company, and my husband and me, and then we said like, okay, we need something specific or special than other team building companies in the area. I went into coaching and team coaching specifically, and this is where I started like moving forward and working more with teams, and that I would say going back to 2010. And then when I moved here again, so I continued doing what I succeeded doing before. And at the beginning, I felt maybe it's different because North America, it was something new for me. I wasn't so, I would say, I didn't know how people will think or lead in this area.
Mhm.
However, later on, when I started mingling, connecting, networking, I found like we're all human, and what's happening, or like what's right there in the other part of the world, it's also right here, and that's how
Yeah.
I was moving forward with this leadership.
Oh, that's a wonderful story because, you talked about connections and networking and community. How important is the concept of collaboration for you, Ruda?
It's everything.
Yeah.
Networking and collaboration. And I would say, Jarrod, you were part of this part of collaboration. And thank you. I will, like, for the first time when I met with you, and I told you several times, like, it was really something so powerful because people love to help, love to
Yeah.
support. And you were here to tell me, okay, what do you need? Let me help you in this, write that, go to do this, and so on. And I met lots of lovely, amazing people like you that helped me to move forward and to be where I am today. So it's about, everything is about collaboration, everything is about networking and being here all together, because together we're stronger. And yet, each one of us is part of this puzzle. The thing is, at the end, we will have a lovely image picture with different kind of puzzles.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so glad to hear that, especially talking about the networking. Ooh, it's one of my favorite subjects is networking.
You know,
Would you care to share some networking tips that others will find useful, please?
oh, I'll be a little bit vulnerable here. I don't know who will be listening, but I will tell you something. When I came to Canada, for me, networking was something not used to network the way I am doing it now. So I said, okay, I used to network in the MENA, but you know the tips and tricks, you know what to say, how to say it, your own language, and so on. So here I didn't know how to do what. And then I was searching, and then I found someone who wrote a book about how to network in North America. I bought the book, I connected with the author,
Wow.
and I was asking this person to give me advices and tips. And each time I was going with this tip, trying something in the networking event, coming back, reflecting on it, what I did right, what I should do better next time,
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of networking event is really appropriate or related to who I am and what is my business, you know?
Yeah.
So the first year I went to all networking events. I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
And then I started to pick and choose. And then I was like, okay, this is my list. And this is where I will be going every month. And if I will give one tip, just step out of your comfort zone, try. There is no harm. Ask if you want to ask, like how to do it, what we need to improve. And I believe that lots of people will be helping you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, we said earlier that most people out there want to help others, and especially if people maybe newcomers to the country are shy or introverted or might not be able to talk to men or women as effectively as others. It's a good question to ask people. Say at a network at all. I'm a little out of my comfort zone here, or like you said, I'm feeling a little vulnerable, and people will be very helpful. You know, people can
Correct.
relate.
Yeah, at the beginning, one time, one lady told me like, just ask them about the hockey. And for me, I didn't know anything about hockey or the golf. I said, okay, what should I ask? I don't know anything about it. I know about the politics in my region, but what should I say here?
Oh, you can't go wrong in Canada talking about hockey. You're right.
So I read about it, I learned about it, and then I was going like I was updated. If there is anything that's happening around these, I was reading them and going and ready to share my knowledge on that.
So, really, do you have a favorite hockey team?
The senators?
In a sense, good guess, good question. Okay, this is a favorite question of mine to ask, especially for somebody like you who's in the leadership and coaching field. Would you happen to have or be able to share some mentoring or coaching tips for small business owners? Maybe for those people who don't have a coach yet.
Yeah, it's very important to have a mentor, a coach, someone to support.
Yeah,
And we have lots of them here in Urawadong. So lots of communities are doing so. So I will first tip, enroll in any program that is providing this kind of support. And it's for free. The majority are for free. It's not like they cannot say, I don't have the capacity or the budget to do so. Lots of them are free. So this is one. Second, if I want to give them one thing, let's follow the 3 C's. The courage, being courageous to try new things. Be compassionate to yourself that you're doing your best.
yeah,
And compassionate with others because they don't know what you are going through. And the third C is being creative. Find a new way, maybe. What worked for you before will not be working for you today, especially with the AI thing.
yeah.
So say, okay, what can I do differently to get a different outcome? Because if I'm doing the same thing, I will receive the same thing. If I want something different, I need to be creative.
Yeah, well, what's that famous expression? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So courage, compassion, creativity.
Oh, I love it. The CCs, the 3 Cs. That's wonderful, Rula. And you talked about being creative, doing something different. And that leads us to our next question about branding. So when you're talking to people, let's say high-level CEOs or even smaller businesses starting up, how do you approach the concept of branding?
Uh, you mean the branding of my organization or the branding in general?
Oh, helping other people discover their branding. Like, what does branding mean to you?
You know, I had lots of difficulties to rediscover who I am in the community. And this is another part of vulnerability. You're opening up. So it's mainly try, check how it's resonating, and finding out. Coaching is very important. What helped me, even me, I'm a coach, but I do have my coach.
Yep.
So I was working like for more than months just to rebrand who I am and what message should I say or speak about for my potential clients or to build relationships, because I'm not someone that I can go to sell. I'm someone who loves to create relationships.
Oh, I love it
So
too. I mean, that speaks to me because, yeah, I don't think I give sales
yeah,
pitches. No. Yeah.
but my challenge was like all my relationships were built in the Middle East and North Africa. So
Hmm.
the past 50 years where I built all my relationships and I was like getting outcome of this, I left everything and I came here where I need to survive, to have like stability, income stability, and restart everything. And at the same time, I'm someone who believe in building relationships. So
Yep.
I felt kind of disconnected. How can I join both? And this is when I was working on my branding, I was able to say, okay, I won't be in this survival mode anymore. I want to be authentic to myself, accepting that I'm here to build relationships. And from relationships, there will be trust. And from that trust, people who resonates with me will work with me. And effectively, after 3 years, I'm seeing now my clients coming from that time, from 3 years ago,
Yeah.
because I built these relationships.
Yeah.
So reconnect with your values, with who you are, and keep the authenticity. This is what will bring you into a great message to lead with.
Oh, that's a wonderful story, Rula, because you talked about so much good content there. Because the purpose, the branding, is to develop that credibility, that relationship, that trust across all of the different ways people and businesses promote themselves on social media, in person, and like you said, it takes time to develop that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, at the beginning when we came, I wasn't accepting that it takes time because I was in an urgency. And I knew that I was functioning out of my values or
Mm.
my way of doing. However, I believe that relationships come first and then business will follow.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And you know what? I don't mean to put you on the spot. You mentioned a few times you're feeling vulnerable, but part of the purpose of this podcast is sharing hard-hitting, honest entrepreneur wisdom. And boy, we're getting to the heart of that. This is wonderful. Rilla, our next question might be a little tough. Money or cash flow tips. So when you came to the country all those years ago, was that an issue for you?
Definitely.
Starting up, reinventing yourself in this business?
I'll put you in the situation. I'll set the context. We came as a family. So my husband, my three kids, and me. We didn't have, like, we had lots of challenges in my home country from political things and so on. So we didn't land here with kind of big kind of support. What we had, it was really to keep on moving forward. So it wasn't like I have my bank account where I can just write checks and so on. And I didn't go into employment, so I wanted to start my business. And my husband it wasn't easy for him to find a job. So saying, you see this context, and starting a new business, entering in the market, building relationships, all that, it
Yeah.
takes time, effort, and energy. So I said to myself, okay, if I have this amount of money, let me check if there is kind of a fund or support from the government, what kind of events I can attend that they are not paid or not too much paid, where I can go. And I started that way. And it was really having my balance sheet with me, the profit and loss and so on, like have them in mind to find out what should I spend for my business, and how can what should I keep for the family or the personal things, the monthly payments.
Yeah.
It
Those are
wasn't
good
easy at
questions.
the beginning.
Yeah.
It was like calculating everything. But I felt that it's my responsibility at the end of the day. I'm not alone. So we're here with kids and so on. And at the same time, I cannot tell you, like when you're opening up, things will open in a way. And I believe like there is always, for me, it's God that is supporting and focusing. Just my role was to take care of these finances and to know exactly, am I should I go and spend a coffee for $10, or I can have like a $1 coffee just for today, and whenever I'll be able to make it happen, I can go elsewhere. So it wasn't about what I used to do. I changed a little bit, like just for a period of time, until we felt that okay, so now we're stable, we can move forward, and it's a different kind of perception
Sure.
or
Sure.
work.
So, Roula, what about processes? Because I'm sure when you, through your coaching, when you're talking to CEOs or leaders, how do you advise about the concept of processes, like internal business organization?
It's all about process systems. So I will invite them to think exactly, to see their North Star, what they want to have at the end, and then play it back
Hmm.
to see where they are today, what they want to do, and how to move forward. So I would say that social media is kind of, I will not say, like it's kind of a mask somehow. People are always happy, they are always, everything is shining, everything is a success, which
Everybody's
is not
successful. Yeah. Yeah.
which is not true. We all have our challenges, but people, like, they will not dare to put it out, not to feel judged. So don't believe all what you're seeing, that it will be easier and they are doing it in an easy way. There is kind of things that you need to move towards that, and these processes are important. You cannot, if you're not working on your business, no one will do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
mentioned the idea of a North Star. Can you elaborate on that, please? Like, I know success looks different for every person in every business, but are there some generalities like when you talk about the North Star, like that figuring out where you want to be? How does one figure that out?
you know um, as you were mentioning, there is not one way that fits everyone,
Mm,
but I will invite people to think, what is something from within is calling them. Once there is something kind of um, important for them, and they feel that this is so important and I'm ready to overcome all challenges because it's so important. So this is kind of this North Star that I want to go to.
right.
And if I put it, that doesn't mean it won't change. It might change, but for today, when I decide to do this part or to see that North Star, today it's important. Tomorrow, maybe something new emerge
Mm.
and something new will be here. Or maybe I learned from an experience that made me change the way I think about it. So it's not about my ego. I decided to go there and I did it. And if I change as if I'm ruining my reputation, it's not that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're human at the end of the day. We're here to learn, to fail, to grow, and to be resilient, to change for whatever is happening, especially nowadays with AI. You cannot imagine, like, lots of changes are happening, and we need to keep on moving forward. And honestly, what was working in 2020 or 2024 is not working anymore in
Mhm.
2026.
Do you use much of AI yourself?
Yes, I learned last year. I took lots of courses to have automation, to have AI tools, to know how to use them. So I enrolled in several programs, and I'm still doing so, but I'm progressing on that, definitely.
Oh, that's wonderful. What would you say to people who refuse to look at AI? I mean, look, I'm still trying to help my mother learn how to copy and paste. So there's some people who just won't use technology for whatever reason. But when it comes to AI these days, do you think it's necessary for business?
Let me give you an example. In years 1900 maybe, we used to travel on horses.
Yeah.
And if after that, we start to have cars. And now you cannot see someone traveling from Ottawa to Montreal other than either on by car or by plane or by train, but you cannot see any horse on the road.
No.
Okay. AI is the same thing.
Hmm.
So AI is the new car. And people who will not embrace AI will be I would say, replaced by people who will use AI.
They're going to be replaced by people who don't, yeah, if they don't accept the technology. Yeah.
Because as if now you're telling me, you know what, I don't like this computer thing. I don't want to have a meeting with you on Zoom. We need to have it online, on site. And we're in two different countries. Can we do that?
Yeah. No.
So you're missing opportunities.
Right. Right.
AI is here to stay, and we need to know how to get the best out of it. He's not here, AI is not here to threaten us, but to help us grow.
No, that's a good way to
So
look at it. Yeah.
definitely. So my role, people like now, they are so afraid that I will lose my job. Yeah, you will lose maybe that role, but other roles will be created. Same thing when we had a horse to travel from a place to another. We did have lots of different roles. Once we had the car, there are new roles. We do have like the station, gas station. We
Yeah.
do have the I don't know what's in English, the mechanicien,
The mechanics. Yes.
mechanics.
Yeah.
So we have lots of other roles or jobs that started because we do have a car,
Yeah.
and the jobs were related to horses disappeared, which is
It
normal.
disappeared. Yeah.
Same-
Ruma, so let's talk about some, you briefly touched on, if people can't adapt, they may succeed or they may fail. How about some challenges or some successes that you're most proud of?
I'm proud. Honestly, let me tell you something that I, a challenge maybe, I'm not so proud of, but
Well, we could talk about like resiliency or adapting
but
or
that's
things
it.
like balance.
Because I was known as someone very resilient and adaptable for changes.
Mhm.
However, when we came here, I couldn't be that person. I was resisting because I was in a survival mode. When I noticed that because I'm in a survival mode, I'm not being able to adapt, I understood myself, and I said, like, okay, let's be compassionate with myself. What I have done,
Yeah.
it's so powerful. So this kind of thing that I learned, it's about the attitude. Which attitude you're here with will determine the outcome.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Attitude is very important. Yes.
yeah, if I have the attitude of resisting and annoyed and just to be here to nag, guess what? You won't be able to move forward.
Yeah.
However, when you have this growth mindset, the open mindset, the attitude of teach me, how can I grow? This is where you will be able to grow.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful, Rula. How about, are you able to share something that you do outside of work for fun? Like, do you have hobbies, that sort of thing?
I definitely I go for a gym, to the gym. I enjoy the nature here in Canada, so I do lots of hike, bike, all that. So my intention to learn golf, I didn't yet.
And hockey?
Okay, it's difficult, honestly, but I went like I did the ice skating this year on the
Oh, good
canal.
for
It
you.
was amazing. I
Yeah.
loved it. But golf, I think if it's not this summer, I doubt next summer definitely. It's
Yeah.
on my list.
And I mean that kind of speaks to mental health because we know that entrepreneurs are perhaps disproportionately affected by mental health issues because of all that stress, struggling to make ends meet, starting up businesses, family obligations. How would you advise people, like for some knowledge, to help entrepreneurs and small business owners deal with mental health?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I will say, don't take it personal and speak up.
Hmm.
Each one of us, we do have our own pace to overcome challenges or our own ways.
Yeah.
Just respect your way and you're not behind. Just keep in mind because sometimes we compare ourselves unintentionally to others. And that doesn't mean we're jealous, but we want to go there. When we will say that it's okay, this is who I am, what should I do differently or better or whatever, it will help me. And then speak up, say for others like what you are going through, and we're all here to support each others. I believe in the power of the community. It's so important, this collaboration. Speaking up will help each one of us. Someone is coming to me and telling me their challenges. I will say, thank you for sharing, for trusting me, and for sharing what's happening with you. And how can I help you? Do you want me to be with the hat of a coach or the mentor or the friend or the colleague? What would you like me to be so I can support you to the best? And you're not alone on that. You know, you have challenges. I do have challenges, each one of us. The thing is, we will be learning from each others. You will tell me, you know what, Rula, I was in that situation few years ago. This is what I have done. Maybe I'll take the same formula and maybe I will create a new one for me, but you will be inspiring me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Rula, speaking of inspiration, let's talk about what's next for you. Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? I know you said earlier that you advise your clients to find their North Star. Let's talk about yours for the little future coming up.
Look, for me, what's important is to have this fingerprint impacting others' life. and to be known as whenever someone is speaking, they want to work to enhance their team performance or helping them to work with their teams to be more aligned and more powerful, and having this kind of alignment between themselves as people and as professional. I want them to think about Roula can help us. So having this part of support that I'll be bringing for organizations, teams, and so on, this is from a professional level, I would say, to have the team performance equal Roula. I'll be more than happy, and not just Canada and North America.
Yeah.
So, am I aiming so high, but I'm happy about that.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a great aspiration to go for.
On a personal level, I would love to create the community where people will sense that it's all about togetherness.
Yeah.
It's all because we're living in an area where people are so busy. And sometimes they do have lots of money, but they are lonely. They have lots of amazing jobs, but they feel loneliness. So it's about this community that I believe I want to create, and that's it. It will be like really something, I would say, I did it. I was able to togetherness move the needle further for this loneliness thing and more collaboration.
Oh, that's such a good, worthwhile way to approach it with community. Yeah, I'm very pleased to see that, Roula. So, Roula, we're coming to the end of our segment. Is there something that we've touched on? Anything you'd like to elaborate further? Any final words of wisdom for small businesses?
I would say keep on moving forward and like be surrounded by people helping you grow and not just putting bad news in front of you. Embrace the change, embrace everything what's happening as new, and move forward and believe in it. This is when things will open up. Just believe and things will be amazing.
Yeah, and again, it comes to that community. People want to be inspired by others. They want to be around people who lift them up. And that's really important. Everybody talks about finding their tribe. Well, in the entrepreneur community, there are a lot of resources out there, especially like you mentioned, a few of them for immigrants, newcomers to the country. There are resources out there. Ask around, find that support because it does exist.
Correct. And you know what? Maybe it's not only the immigrants or newcomers, because sometimes when we are in our comfort zone, I am meeting lots of Canadians that they were born and lived here, and they feel that they cannot do it. And I'll tell them, you know what? If I was able to make it happen, you're much more powerful than who I am and what I'm doing here. Just please have the intention and make it happen.
Right. Well, thank you, Roula. Roula, how can somebody get in touch with you, please?
They can get in touch via LinkedIn, I will say. If they will add me as a friend, let them please say that they saw this show, so I will be adding them, because sometimes lots of advertisement and so on. So it's not easy anymore. Or they can go to my website, www.fingerprint-leadership.com.
Wonderful. Roula, thank you so much. So today I'd like to thank entrepreneurial leader Roula Eid on our segment. We hope that this episode has provided some wisdom that you can use to grow your small business. So please subscribe to the eSAX YouTube channel and check out the hundreds of other videos we have across multiple playlists for some great entrepreneurial content. Roula, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Jarrod. See you soon in one of these networking events.
Thank you, Roula.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. For more great entrepreneur networking tips, subscribe to our eSAX YouTube channel. because eSAX makes networking work.